I just saw a man wearing only boxers and a guitar chasing a squirrel. Never seen a first level bard leveling up in the real world before. Hello H2Hos and roller bros, it is I SkyDieRay with another D&D memes. Prepare to slay dragons and lay witches, or slay witches and lay dragons if that's what you're into. We accept pretty much anything here. Anyway, welcome to another D&D memes. Hoping a wonderful day today. Before jumping into it, I want to quickly kindly ask you if you want to take a moment to smash the like button. Takes a second and helps out a lot, so thanks so much for that. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Smart Barbarian. The whole party fails their investigation into mysterious happenings around the noble. The barbarian with disadvantage being the only one who passed all the checks. Okay, the smart barbarian might actually be a first. I'm not sure a barbarian has ever been smart before. Expertise in animal handling go brr. Natural 20s in a nutshell. Hey, Altivo, you want a nice apple? Come and get it. But you have to do a trick for me first. All you have to do is find a pry bar. A long piece of iron with a hooky thing at the end. Yeah? Miguel, you're talking to a horse. He can't understand pry bar. He's a dumb horse, there's no way. Well, it's not a pry bar. No, I think that's gonna work too. Not as good as a pry bar, but solid. No pun intended. You know the horny bard stereotype. Now be prepared for, hey girl, I couldn't help but notice that you are trying to steal my mug. So can I say that you are mugging me? She was really into that, I'm telling you. Valeros, she broke your leg, your arm, and stole your mug. Stole the mug just to prove a point, Jesus Christ. Trevor's dump stats are wisdom and charisma. Something about Netflix's Castlevania felt really weird but oddly familiar in the way the story is medieval low fantasy, and yet every character is not only speaking in a super modern way but constantly dunking on each other's backstory, dropping F-bombs with impunity, and going on 5-minute tangents on whether or not vampires really are killed by running water, and I couldn't put my finger on it until I realized they all talk like they're players in a D&D campaign. Natural 1. You must be the Velmond. Which is which though? You versus the druid that he tells you not to worry about. I think both work. the meme would work either way. The craziest session that I've had this year. We fight the final boss, a Demi-Lich. He uses his Howl ability. 4 out of 5 of us failed the saving throw, causing us to drop to 0 hit points. Even the angel that we got through divine intervention fails. Our wizard and druid die, and the rogue is the last one standing with 1 hit point. The rogue loots the druid for good berries, heals the paladin, and flees. The Demi-Lich chases him, allowing the paladin to heal my cleric. I kill the Demi-Lich with guiding bolt and revive the druid. The druid turns the rogue into a fucking mammoth. With less than 30 hit points combined, we kill the remaining goons of the Demi-Lich. The wizard is still dead, and we don't have diamonds or spell slots to revive her. The Demi-Lich loot contains enough diamonds for Raise Dead. The dice gods be cruel sometimes. My rolls out of combat, and then my rolls during combat. Nice, this is a nice template. This is a template I appreciate. D&D with non-native English speakers. DM. The door is ajar.
Rogue.
How is the door ajar? Oh, it's slightly open. Okay, I climb into the jar. No. Realism shouldn't be the goal in D&D, but sometimes it's still cool. D&D memes. Oh my god, multiple weapons on a fighter, that idea is ridiculous. Medieval knights with a lance, sword, shield, dagger, mace or hammer, and sometimes a gun, all at the same time. Yeah, but that's not the point. It doesn't matter if it's historically accurate in any way. Mainly it's not the way it's portrayed in movies or in general, you know. It's like they can only look outside the box for character ideas. When I give my players 5 source books and 15 races to pick from, and they still insist on playing something else that isn't setting appropriate. Not saying this is the best way to handle this type of situation, but it would probably be effective. The DM allows you to kill a cultist by casting Create Water in their lungs. The cult's leader immediately casts Create Water inside of your lungs. Yeah, you know, for things like this, it really, the main problem would, or you know, one of the biggest problems would be that it works both ways. And maybe you don't want the DM to be able to do that in every encounter. Like same with heat metal and heating, you know, metal armor and stuff like that. Exaggerated description of our campaign. Everyone is cool and happy how it's going. My players being the gigachat dog. Okay guys, let's not be murder hobos and try to talk this through. And then the poor DM. Guys, it's a werewolf, it has rabies and it's full moon. Please just fight for once. It me, I am DM. Your DM gives you permission to play as a cleric without powers, searching for a deity worth serving for the next campaign. In a city built atop the corpse of a killed deity, pierced by 1,000 spears, your party nearly TPKs. You desperately reach out to anything for salvation. And the dead deity answers. That was great though. That sounds like a fun story, you know. I would actually like to read the D&D Green Text story of that version of that one. Can't say I necessarily expected that. I throw my player's character in a jail cell with an anti-magic cuff on and have a convenient guard walk by for them to pick the keys to the cell off of. They have their character dislocate their own thumb so they can slip the cuff off before teleporting out of the cell. What do you call it? 20 but not natural, non-natural 20, dirty 20, and flaccid 20. Why do I always end up wandering around my house? Me, wandering around my house for hours creating the greatest ideas for the next part of my campaign in my head. I will not write anything down and will forget all of it. Well, creativity works best when it's not under pressure. Watching this was like watching a house of cards lighting itself on fire before jumping off the table. Somewhat new player who was talked into playing by their friends, and the DM who kills the PC for being disrespectful to the city guard and then says they should know better than to do stuff like that because they are black IRL. Jesus Christ, what? 7 people have left the server and the DM saying it's his fault for running his mouth. Okay, Jesus Christ. The only correct method for dealing with party drama. Nice argument. Unfortunately, I already photoshopped your D&D character inside the mason jar. Yeah, I think that wins. That's quite a valid argument. I mean, you can't ignore this one. Or counter-argument, rather. Why the long face? The spellcaster players mocking the unarmed, non-magical warforged big bad evil guy for his science superior to magic doctrine, and the big bad evil guy with homebrew legendary action who just lost his patience. Okay, DM, alright. If they keep this up, I'm gonna start calling it the Spooky Forest from now on. Me, watching my past self name a forest Deepwood in my homebrew setting. Okay, I can imagine why that might have been a mistake. Yeah, alright. The title kinda helped with, you know, figuring out what they meant. I respect and understand their decision, but nevertheless, it still threw my entire plan for the entire campaign into chaos. Player, sorry, I have to drop out of the campaign. The DM, who just planned to start an entire story arc for their character next session. Everything's fine on the outside, but internal screaming. Alright. 5th edition and 2nd edition respectively. GM. Yeah, this enemy actually has a fighter stat block, just a few levels higher than you. D&D players and Pathfinder players. 50 gold pieces worth of diamond dust per eye. You encounter a homebrewed basilisk that petrifies your eyes. It doesn't turn them into mundane rock, but into diamonds. You can use them to cast Greater Restoration to... wait a second. 5 o'clock traffic looks like lines of level 1 barbarians. I just saw a man wearing only boxers and a guitar chasing a squirrel. Never seen a first level bard leveling up in the real world before. There was literally a person who had their arc before me and he just didn't make one. Why are you always the main character? I'm not, this is just my backstory arc right now. No, you just want to be the main character like always. The DM said to make in-depth backstories for plot points and you didn't make one, that's your fault. You're just attention hungry and selfish. Oh, I love it when there's some personal campaign drama being shared on the D&D subreddit. I mean, it's a you know, big part of it, but yeah, it's still funny to see. More than Canaan, the centuries-old legendary archmage whose spell inventions are used on dozens of worlds across the material plane, needs a few level ups to fit in with the level 20 party. If you ever need a reference for how overpowered a level 20 party is, just remember that this guy is level 18. More than Canaan, alright. Yeah, but it's fine because the party doesn't really get to level 20 very often, so... Thank you, sane magical item prices. We did a smart thing with 5th edition D&D by listening to the fans, and what came out of that process was a system that is stable, that is well loved, that incorporates the best elements of earlier editions. Chris Perkins from Wizards of the Coast at the 1D&D World Reveal trailer. Me, missing the worst elements of earlier editions, like, you know, having official prices for magical items. Just had a session cancelled 7 minutes before. Might cry. Saying don't worry it's fine smiley face after the session is delayed for the 823,176th time. Yeah, good luck. I don't know what to say at this point. Just happy thoughts. Just forget about it. Do something else. I don't know. Sometimes new GMs need a bit of encouragement. New GM nervous to kill my character when I'm down. Me vibing on the drama. Come on, I want you to do it. I want you to do it. Come on, hit me. I mean, you know, it's also somewhat nice to know that your characters can die in the campaign, that they're not actually, you know, the DM doesn't just give you plot armor. This is what I imagine when I look at the rules for flying on paper. Flying creatures in 5th edition starting their turn on the ground and then going straight up like they turned on no clip. That is a very valid point that I've never thought about before somehow. Okay, dude. When a mimic and a gelatinous cube have a baby. When a mimic... Okay, it's the same text. I've seen this earlier, I think, somewhere else. This refrigerator cools your food and drinks with biopolymer gel. There are no shelves, no doors, and no compartments. You simply insert your food into the gel. I'm gonna be honest, this just seems disgusting and like a very bad idea. I don't know. Obviously, play whatever you want, but why did it have to be that? DM with Samurai Fighter or any ranger, and the player who wants to play a wandering samurai character. And yeah, the player picking a Kensei monk. Magic does not equal unstoppable. The party of all full casters. The DM already planning on retconning the first 45 minutes of this coat hanger abortion of a session, and 3 goblins with short bows. And the party of all full casters is absolutely terrified by, and you know, basically destroyed by that. They're just gonna die, yeah. If you are running a big bad evil guy, what would you have them wish for? Our wizard casting wish during the final battle, yeah, that's happy, but then when the big bad evil guy is casting wish during the final battle. This is unbelievably frustrating, because the gems found in loot will either not be enough, or you'll waste value when you use them. Wizards of the Coast. You need a gem worth 300 gold pieces to cast Revivify. Sure, that means there are gems that cost 300 gold pieces, right? You didn't make the gems cost 100 and 500 gold pieces with nothing in between, right? Okay. No, you know, just talk to your DM, I'm sure they'll understand it. Just come on. Also, to be sure, I don't have the, you know, book reference in front of me right now to see it, but I'm not sure if even if Wizards, if for them this is how it was intended. I mean, I'm sure they did account for, you know, gems being able to have a value in between, right? Or maybe I'm just giving them too much credit, I don't know. Nice range damage, by the way. Be a shame if all the enemies proned. Min-maxed level 5 ranger getting his second attack, and said ranger watching all the enemies simply lay on the ground. How did your campaign's TPK happen? The wizard who almost dropped in combat but used fireball to finish off the enemies, and the warlock with a 5th level hellish rebuke ready to go got caught in the blast. If spell slots were gas, then the warlock's a hammer. When the DM uses a monster's legendary resistance after the warlock burns a spell slot. You can't do this to me. You know how much I sacrificed? Poor warlocks. DMs really do not care about warlocks' feelings, ever. There are always consequences. My players returning to a town many in-game years later, and the child whose parents were killed because of them, that is now the guard captain. Actions do have consequences most of the time. Alright then, that's a lesson for that party. That's maybe a lesson for every party, you know? I mean, you know, yeah, depending on the DM, but just it's a very good thing to keep in mind that your actions might have consequences at some point in the future. Alright, on that note, that's it for today's video, so thank you so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like if you did and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, thank you to everyone supporting the channel on Patreon, as well as in thanks for those. Links below if you can check them out, as links to social media, already Discord and everything else. And yeah, that's it, thanks again for watching and I'll see you next time. Have a great day, bye!